Hi, I'm Lynn Bridgeford from the Aether Bios Clinic and Aether Bios Yoga. And in our series on homeopathy this month, today I'd like to talk about the 12 tissue salts. Now, the tissue salts are homeopathic preparations of minerals that are found in our body, and there's 12 of them. And in 1873, Dr. William Heinrich Schlüsser prepared these combinations, looking to help people balance their health and their vitality and avoid some, hopefully, unhealthy conditions. So today I'd like to share with you some information about these tissue salts and how you can investigate them if you're interested, where you can find information, and how you can use them to help you improve and balance your own cellular structure and your health. None of this is intended to replace medical help. If you need medical help, you need to seek it and seek it in time. What we're looking at is taking responsibility for our own health by keeping ourselves healthy and dealing with minor things when they come up. So if we look at the 12 salts, they all have chemical names and there are groups of them. So there are 3 calc, so that's calcium. There's 1 ferrum, that's iron. There's 3 kali, that's potassium. 1 mag, that's magnesium. 3 nat, that's natrum, sodium. And 1 silicia. So they have chemical combinations, so each one is combined with a different aspect, an anion. So we have the fluoride aspect, we have phosphate, sulfate, Mule, which is chloride, and that's the ones we have combined. So we have the 12. Calc fluor is number 1. That's calcium fluoride. That's for elasticity. They each have a keynote, and the keynote of calc fluor is elasticity. Number 2, calc Foss, calcium phosphate, is for bone health. Number 3, calc sulf, that's calcium sulfate, is for blood cleansing. Number 4, ferrum Foss, that's iron phosphate, that's the first aid and it's an oxygenator. Kali Mule, that's potassium chloride, that's a glandular tonic. Kali Foss, potassium phosphate, is a nerve tonic. Kali sulf, that's potassium sulfate, is a skin balancer. Mag Foss, magnesium phosphate, that's a muscle relaxant. Nat Mule, sodium chloride, for fluid balance. Nat Foss, sodium phosphate, acid neutralizer. Nat Sulf, that's sodium sulfate, water eliminator and balancer. And number 12, silicia, a cleanser and conditioner. So these all have a basic keynote of what they do, and it's to do with where they're found in the body. So if we have a look in a little bit more detail each one, just to give you an idea, so to stimulate you to think, what might you want to be looking at for yourself? You can look up information on these online if you Google the tissue salts, Schlüsser tissue salts, or if you just put tissue salts in or one of the names. And there are lovely books. I've got several books that I've referred to over the years, and I like to just look things up, but nowadays we just use Google and use it as your own tool to see what you can do to help yourself. So if we look in a little more detail, if we look at calc fluor, which is about elasticity, that elasticity is all through the body. We have elastic tissue everywhere, so blood vessels are elastic, connective tissue, muscles, ligaments. So varicose veins are a congestion in the blood vessels, so we can help varicose veins, hemorrhoids similarly, any muscle strains or ligament and tendons. They're all to do with elasticity. It should also help us keep our skin nice and elastic. So calc Foss is found in our bones, our teeth, our connective tissue, in the blood corpuscles and the gastric juices. So it's going to give us temporary relief from anemia, from bone conditions and from indigestion. It may also help with teething and in puberty. Calc sulf is the blood cleanser. It's found in large amounts in the liver, so it helps to remove waste products from the body. So it can be a temporary relief from skin disorders where there's some kind of build-up of tissue or fluid. It can help eliminate spots, pimples, and also eliminate pus. It also helps with slow healing wounds where that cleansing is needed. Ferrum phosphate is the oxygen carrier found in the blood. It's very good with early stages of respiratory conditions. It helps with wound healing in early stages. I cut my finger and it was bleeding, and I put some ferrum phos on it and it stopped the bleeding really quickly. So it's very good for throbbing, redness, all those first stages of an injury. Mule, the Glandular Tonic, very good for sluggish conditions and to balance the fluids in the body and proper functioning of the nerves. It's very good for temporary relief of mucus and congestion and coughs and colds and sore throats. Foss, potassium phosphate, is the nerve nutrient. It's found in the brain and nerve cells. It's very good for calming the brain, so for temporary release of nervous tension, irritability, mood if you're feeling a bit low, just to help the vitality. It's good with sleeplessness as well. Anything related to nerves, nervous headaches. Sulf, potassium sulfate, for the skin balance. It's found in the skin tissue. Very good for dryness and for irritations of the skin, for eruptions, dandruff, and the irritations from chickenpox. Foss, magnesium phosphate, for muscle relaxing. So it's very good for those twitches, those spasms, where you have spasmodic coughing or hiccups or pains that come and go and shift around the body. Those spasmodic pains, Foss will be helpful. Mule, sodium chloride, for the fluid balance in the body. So getting that balance, not too dry, not too wet. So runny noses, dry skin. It also helps with if you've lost your sense of smell or taste. Foss, sodium phosphate, the acid neutralizer. It can help with digestive issues, with dyspepsia, with anything imbalanced or acidic, and including rheumatic or arthritic type conditions which are acid related in the body. Sulf, potassium sulfate, the water eliminator. This is really important in the liver and in the bile. It helps the liver to function normally and digest starches. It helps with the digestion of starches and sugars. Very good for liver upsets, temporary biliousness, and water retention. And our last one, cilia, the cleanser and conditioner. It's found in all the connective tissue. It's very good for expelling things like splinters. It's good conditioner for hair and nails and skin. And it's good to expel pimples, boils, and the like. So there are combinations of these that have been made up by different companies. There's one here that's for infant teething problems. So you see the pills are little white pills that dissolve very easily. There's other companies I work with that have combinations. I have test kits for them, and this company has a list of 28 different combination remedies. So there'll be one for hair and nails, there's one for headache, one for fever, enlarged tonsils, constipation, rheumatism, toothache, general vitality, and a general tonic. So it's about looking and seeing what works for you. So please do, if you're feeling inclined to take better care of your health, have a look at the tissue salts, look up what they do, and see if you become interested in how you can help yourself with that. Another beautiful way to help ourselves that's aligned with homeopathy is the flower remedies, the Bach flower remedies. Dr. Edward Bach, a Welshman, discovered that when people smelt different flowers, it would have a positive impact on their mental state. So he set about researching and finding out what states related to which flowers. So there's a number of beautiful remedies, and they come in little dropper bottles. Most people have probably heard of Rescue Remedy. It's a mixture, a combination that helps with a number of things that might be an issue in an emergency like shock and worry. So I have a lovely little book here called The 12 Healers by Dr. Bach, and he's put these very nicely in groups of conditions. So for those who fear, for those who suffer uncertainty, not sufficient interest in present circumstances, loneliness, oversensitive to influence and ideas, for despondency and despair, and for the overcare for welfare of others. So there are a number of remedies in there, and they all have a little story that tells you what they're about. Sometimes people relate to them. I test them with kinesiology, and sometimes I'm surprised at what comes up, but the person will say, oh yes, I relate to that, or that was in the past. So sometimes we have a shadow of an emotion left in our being, and these Bach flower remedies can just gently help to ease it off. So thank you for listening today. Please, I hope you're inspired to learn something to help yourself and look these things up online. That's Lynn Bridgeford, Aether Bios. Thank you so much for watching. I'm really enjoying sharing my journey and my knowledge with you, and I hope it's a help to you with your learning and your understanding. Please subscribe, like, write in the comments below, and go across to my other channels. I have Instagram, Lynn Bridgeford. I have Facebook channels for the clinic, for the yoga, and interact with me on all the channels, and I would be happy to connect with you. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Thank you so much.